Hey, it's Matt, and welcome back to the Fine Finish Podcast, Episode 6. This week's episode is out a bit later than expected. Our apologies. So, what is your process? From the minute you receive that request for a quote to the moment you're wiping off that last speck of dust, process is king. Today we'll talk about a few of the ins and outs and importance of process when finishing and refinishing your wood projects. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you should be asking yourself, what's my process? Thanks for tuning in to the Fine Finish Podcast. Let's get started. Alright, fuck it, we'll just go. Alright, I'm already recording.
Do an intro.
You get the intro? Yeah, I will. Yeah. Alright, well, hey guys, we're back with another episode of the Fine Finish Podcast. Today it's just me and Lewis. Lewis and I, I'm not sure there. What's going on, dude? You getting ready for Music on Main?
What's up? Yep, Music on Main Street tonight. Last one for the year.
Yeah. For those not familiar with Music on Main, downtown Humble, they host a
Car
show. Yeah, there's
food trucks.
Yep. Yeah, live band sometimes. They're doing karaoke tonight.
Yep.
And trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat for the kids.
Yep. Yeah. Last one of the year, like you just said. So cool, man. Yeah, we thought we'd jump on here and just kind of riff about some things we've been thinking about, especially with the classes we've been having.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Last week we had. Were there four? There were four guys in here, right?
5. Well, we had 4 on the podcast. One had to get to the airport.
We had 5 in the toning class, but for the podcast we had 4, and y'all just kind of talked about their experiences, yeah, it was kind of good. I hope people got a lot out of that, and hopefully we get more for future classes out of that. But anyway, so let's talk a little bit more about from your point of view.
Sure.
As far as, I don't know if maybe you want to go into the class itself or specifically toning or refinishing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest takeaway, because we haven't, we kind of stopped doing classes. The term classes had kind of picked a sore spot with me just based on everything I'd seen and participated in. So we started calling them demos, and the only way I was going to do a class is if we did it the way we've been doing these last 2, which is where we actually take an entire project from start to finish. And for me, I know, and again, well, let me go back a little bit, a small setting, right? We're not trying to do 10 to 15 people. We're capping it at 5 people because it's manageable. And I know we can give value to our customer doing a small class, and doing it from start to finish, and all the real world variables, even dealing with the customer to an extent, and all that good stuff. So it's been really, really good. We've had nothing but positive feedback, and now we're seeing a lot more requests for this type of event. So I think it's beneficial all the way around that we continue to do them and see where it goes.
And having a smaller group helps more with one-on-one, right? And I think a lot of the guys have gotten, and girls, I mean, there's no, exclusivity there, but get more benefit out of being able to ask questions and not being talked over and stuff. So specifically as far as like process, right? But
yeah, the process. Yeah, no, I mean, and that's really the key to it. Because I mean, when you think about it, if we kind of think back on the very first one, and we had Russell on episode 2, I believe it was, that particular project we did it in 2 days, start to finish with 2 guys. I mean, I intentionally try to stay out of the process as much as possible. Sometimes I feel like, sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, man, I should be in there helping. But at the same time, if I'm not, just giving, a high level overview on the process, I don't feel like I'm doing them any favors, So when you think about being able to do a project from start to finish in 2 days with 2 guys, I mean, it is 100% related to process. And I think that's where we see a lot of our customers struggle is process. And, we've adopted over the last few years the one-piece flow mentality, the lean process, continuous process improvement, which is something that we do not see. I'm going to say like 95% of customers doing. We get a lot of kickback on it, I guess. I mean, I've had, and I'm sure you've heard, these customers have just sat here and argued with me essentially, that it can't be done that way. And I'm like, well, we've done it over and over and over. Even before opening the store as a consultant, I did it with customers all over the country. When you look at large scale manufacturing, that's how it's done pretty much everywhere. I mean, Toyota makes one car at a time. It's a one piece flow.
So these classes, I mean, we've had some that have been 1 day, some 2 days. I think max is 3. And you expect that a project should be done in the same amount of time. You're making these projects the length that it should take somebody to do this in the real world, right?
Yeah, depending on how many people they have, But I think it's, even if it's one person, because there are those one-man teams. And that's where, where I see the kickback a lot of times is from these one-man show. And I mean, in reality, it is the best way to do it for a one-person team. And there's several reasons why, but it's just faster. I mean, there's no way, and I've always said it, we're up for the challenge. Anybody that wants to race, let's race, dude. I mean, it sounds stupid, but at the same time, we're just so confident that we're right about this because we've seen it work so many times. I would love for somebody to prove me wrong.
Yeah, for sure. And so, I mean, we have customers that come in that are painting all types of wood products, right? But I mean, the majority are probably kitchen cabinets, right?
Right.
How long is too long for somebody to be doing it? Like if I told you that I had somebody come in and paint my cabinets and it took them a week and a half, that seems too long.
I would say so. And I look at it from the homeowner's perspective. And I mean, I don't want anybody moving in with me.
For sure. I mean, the contractor's doing something wrong. Maybe if they're doing, unless it's because of me, my availability, maybe they can't come in and do it. I mean, there's different factors there, but if I gave you 4 days, you should be able to do that in 4 days, right?
I don't see why not.
And especially if you're following one piece flow.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We've written some SOPs for, shop work and on-site work, right? Can you talk a little bit about, maybe the importance of following an SOP or, especially if you have a team of guys that are trying to work together to do one thing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's truly what it is following an SOP. It's not rocket science. It's not difficult. I mean,
it should be repeatable.
It should be repeatable. And that's the only way you're going to be able to scale. That's the only way you're going to be able to get faster. If you're a one-man team or a two-man team and your goal is to scale, I mean, how do you scale when there's no standard process in place? You can't. I mean, you might be able to scale a little bit, but I think we've seen that fail more than it's succeeded.
Yeah, I would imagine pricing, quoting, estimating these things would be hard if some of your projects are taking a week and some might only take 2 days.
Yeah.
How are you going to quote future projects?
Yeah,
right?
no, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So,
Pricing is a big part of it too.
Yeah.
I mean, we see so many people struggling to standardize pricing, or if their pricing may be wrong, it might be too low. A lot of times I think what we see is that the pricing is way too high. We've had recently, especially with, the economy just kind of slowing down, I've had more conversations with our customers about pricing. They're getting outbid all over the place. And I think that's the nature of it. I mean, when the economy slows down, it's not just you, it's everybody is looking for work, right? So naturally, if especially if you have a crew, I mean, you want to keep that crew busy. You have to keep that crew busy, or you start laying off. And I've been having that conversation a lot more, and people are having a hard time understanding, how they could potentially lower their price. And I'm telling you, it's because the process is wrong. It's very, very inefficient, and it's taking way too long. And that's why the pricing's high. That's why you're getting outbid. And, most guys will be like, oh, yeah, you're going to get what you pay for because they're half the price. But, at the end of the day, if you really think that the homeowner, sure, we can name some scenarios, but I would say most of the time the customer's fine with what they paid for.
Yeah.
It's not like every single time because somebody was lower than you, the customer got screwed over. I mean, that's not the scenario. I could venture to say, I could go in there and underbid you by a lot and still deliver a beautiful end result, but I'm going to be in there for half the time. Right. And that's the difference. That's truly the difference.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it sounds like, process is the main, that's what rules all, right?
Absolutely.
And it doesn't, from what you're saying, it sounds like process maybe isn't just for, okay, lay down covering on the floor, tape off everything, spray it. I mean, that's a process, right? But the process extends goes before that and after that, right? I mean,
yeah, 100%.
Because I mean, if you had a process for how you quote, right?
Yep.
Then maybe it's not on paper. Maybe you follow the same routine every time. Then, because that also takes time too.
Absolutely.
Right? If it takes a day to quote somebody, or if it takes 2 days to get back to somebody, or to figure out how much to do it, that's cutting into time for something else, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, process is from start to finish, from the moment you get a phone call to when you wipe off the last door in a kitchen and walk out of there, right? So,
yeah, 100%.
I mean, I don't know how much you want to get into maybe pricing. I don't know, know, we have a lot of people call up here and ask about how much do I need? How much,
absolutely.
Or, how long is it going to take me? What does my preparation look like? What does my in-between coats look like? As far as pricing goes, again, I don't know how detailed you want to get about, linear pricing or square footage, but maybe just speak on that a little bit.
No, I mean, and that's the other thing. Beyond One Piece Flow is the way we train our customers to price, the way I priced jobs when I had my finishing business. For cabinet refinishing specifically, we did linear foot pricing, right? If it were millwork or contract finishing, then we go square foot pricing. We see most people trying to price, by the door and drawer front. And, usually this makes sense to most people. All the doors and drawer fronts are different sizes. So why would you price them the same? Why would you price a lower door that's only, let's just say, 18 inches tall, the same as an upper door that's 40 inches tall?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're talking double the amount of surface area. So when you think about it like that, it starts to make more sense, especially when you start to try to calculate material needs. I mean, all of the products have a theoretical coverage, right? And that theoretical coverage is based off a square foot. So you can easily convert your linear foot pricing to square foot pricing to get an accurate idea of material needs. When we start talking about finished ends that don't have a door, if we're talking about island fronts, bookcases, wine case, whatever it may be where there's not a door, I've seen people, well, I charge this for this and this for that and this. I mean, it's inefficient. Mm-hmm. And it's not scalable. Like, let's just say you're trying to hire a salesperson, right? I mean, how do you train that salesperson when everything, is nitpicked, mm-hmm. right? Or you're having to call somebody, hey, I've got this it's not a door, it's a refrigerator end panel, how do I price? Oh, we'll count it as 4 doors. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. A square foot or linear foot price makes sense. Mm-hmm. And again, going back to contract finishing, it's, if we have a cabinet maker, a millwork company, they're bidding all their stuff on square footage, mm-hmm. right? I mean, they're making wall panels, but how many they're charging by the square foot, right? So it only makes sense for us to charge by the square foot or linear foot to be accurate, and again, scale and hire and train and all that good stuff.
This podcast is brought to you by Fine Finish Supply. It's time to take your craft to the next level, and Fine Finish Supply can help with hands-on classes and demos. No more boring lectures. It's all about rolling up your sleeves and getting down to business with our hands-on classes. They're designed for tradesmen like you who dare to be different. We offer a wide range of classes for any professional, including stain to paint, refinishing and toning, door refinishing, custom staining, product demos, and more. And for our out-of-town attendees, we've got you covered too. Feel free to stay in our comfortable rent house so you can focus on honing your craft without the distractions of high-priced hotels. It's time to elevate your skills, boost your career, and become the legend you were meant to be. Visit finefinishsupply.com/events to find upcoming classes and demos in the Houston area. Don't wait, our classes are in high demand, and you don't want to miss your chance to level up. And now, back to the show. If someone calls you to go in there and quote their, mm-hmm. to, let's say, refinish paint their kitchen cabinets, right? Mm-hmm. For one, and this is probably obvious, but it wouldn't be ideal to quote that off of pictures, right? Could you?
I mean, a lot of people do, and I think
maybe that doesn't sound efficient to me. I mean, step in there and look at it.
I mean, yeah. I guess it depends really truthfully how busy you are. I mean, if your schedule is full, and I mean, a small kitchen usually takes the same amount of time as a big kitchen. So if you're talking employees and running a crew, mm-hmm. I mean, it's usually going to be about the same amount of time, right? Mm-hmm. We have to stick it on the schedule, whether it's, 50 linear feet or 70 linear feet. The price is going to be different, but in all reality, it's going to generally take about the same amount of time from a scheduling standpoint, mm-hmm. And a lot of times it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to, let's just say a job takes 2.5 days, just so we could say we fit 2 jobs on the schedule a week. Well, if you did a job that's taking 4 days, what are you going to do on the 5th day?
Yeah.
Right. Now you have a gap in the schedule. So, I mean, I see people doing it all the time. I think if you really, really, really have your process and pricing dialed in, maybe it'll work for you. Yeah. I think what worked really well for us was really pre-qualifying the shit out of these customers, man. And I mean, minimum pricing for the service. If you called and said, hey, I want to get my cabinets refinished, great.
It starts here.
Here's our minimum, just mm-hmm. simple numbers, $1,000, which mm-hmm. is way low. It's not that, but the response is going to be one of two things. It's going to be, okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead and schedule. Or it's going to be, some kind of, backpedaling. Well, I got a really small kitchen. Okay. Mm-hmm. But that's our price. That's our minimum price. We know we cannot do a job no matter the size. I don't care if it's small. I still have to schedule it. I still have to get materials. I have to put guys on it. We have to go there. We have to do the same shit. Paper cover, sand, clean, all of it's the same. So, that really helps in qualifying the customers. We might want to get pictures because we're going to ask questions like, have they been painted before?
Yeah.
Right. That's really important to know.
But and I guess maybe my question was, you wouldn't just give a full quote off of pictures.
No.
You really want to go there and do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of getting to is just, again, staying with process. Let's say you did have a sales guy. You had multiple sales guys. You couldn't go do it yourself.
Right.
Right. You want to tell them how to do it. Maybe they have a sheet, and or maybe they're filling something out. They need to go hand back to you or someone in an office or something. Right. So, I mean, you really probably want to step foot in there before you do anything. And that's, again, it's probably an obvious thing. So,
well, and also upselling, right? I mean, being in the home with the customer is your opportunity to upsell. It's really difficult to upsell somebody over a picture and an email or a conversation on the phone without being, in the space where it's intimate and, you build that personal relationship and the customers trust you. And that is truly your opportunity to upsell, because if you're not upselling, something needs to change in your operation. Seriously.
Can you give me an example of maybe something you might upsell?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, upselling, soft close hinges, soft close drawer glides, brand new drawer boxes, hardware installation, crown molding, light rail, new doors, refacing. I mean,
or you see something in their house, like, hey, what about that over there? Or maybe something.
Well, and I think a lot of times too, it's customer expectation, right? I mean, I've always said, when it comes to painting, refinishing cabinets, we're immediately at a disadvantage because the customer knows for sure they do not have the budget for a full kitchen remodel.
Yeah.
Right. So when you walk into a space and they're showing you pictures of $100,000 kitchens from Pinterest, and they realistically have, $4,000 worth of builder grade cabinets, we're immediately at a disadvantage from a customer expectation standpoint. That is where you can upsell, right? It goes from a $4,000 refinish to maybe a $10,000 reface with new crown, new doors, soft close hinges. We're giving them something that's a lot closer to what they wanted without having to rip everything out. So the margins go up significantly when we start doing stuff like that. And, that's...
I was going to, that you took the words out of my mouth, because I was going to ask you about margins.
Yeah.
What do you think, and maybe you don't remember, maybe you do remember what kind of margins you were getting, above cost. But what do you think the average is right now in the industry for finishing?
40 to 50% should be what it's at.
Yeah.
When you have that opportunity to go in and upsell, especially with refacing, if we're talking about cabinet doors specifically, okay, no matter if you're refinishing or you're finishing a new door, you're still finishing.
Yeah.
Right. But the difference is a new door, you can sell it for a lot more than you could just finishing the existing door. Yeah. And most paint grade or stain grade doors, I mean, realistically, you're not going to be paying more than, I'm going to say $30 to $45 a piece. So let's take that piece pricing scenario. If you were charging $100 to $150 per door, and now you're refinishing something that has to be worked, right? Bondoed, puttied, whatever the scenario may be. Maybe there's contamination. Maybe you have to do grain filling because it's oak and they want it to look like maple, which is never going to happen. It would make more sense in my mind, and I think customers are more willing to spend $200, right, for something that's what they want, and it drastically changes the look of the kitchen. Your margins are going to go up. Now you've eliminated all those variables of potential things that could happen with the refinish, So on a reface, honestly, the margins, we used to do them really fast. I mean, it was my preference toward the end is, man, let's reface this because it is just so much more efficient. And we had a shop too, so we could do doors, racks of doors, and margins go up a lot.
Yeah. What would you give advice to somebody as far as tools go? And what I mean by tools are for a process, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's some sort of technology while they're quoting or something they're using, not a sander. I don't mean a sprayer, something to help with process throughout a project. Maybe it's
technology,
some sort of forms, an iPad, those kind of things where, or maybe it's software, something. I don't. Maybe you have something you can speak to on that.
Yeah, I mean, we were one of the first adopters of a program called House Call Pro, and that is essentially like a CRM / scheduling tool, estimating tool, all that good stuff. And I know the technology, it has to have come a long way because it's been, God, we shut down in 2017. So, I mean, I just looking at technology for what it is, I mean, it has to be better. But at the time, it was extremely convenient all the way from scheduling. We have somebody scheduling the appointment. Bam, the customer gets a text and an email, right? Lewis is coming out on Tuesday at 9:00. From an estimating standpoint, I'm hitting Lewis is on his way. The customer is getting an alert. Communication. Yeah. It's key, right? We were able to take pictures of the job, store them in a file. We were able to have itemized, line items for the services. That way we could, give the quote right there, because any type of service company, I think your goal should always be a one call close, right? And that's where we're qualifying the customer really well. Like I tell people, if I'm going to your house, I'm assuming the job. Like I'm asking questions like, hey, you haven't even told me yes yet, but when do we put this on the schedule, right? Start looking at color, right? Okay. Yeah. Start giving them instructions, start putting that customer in the mindset that you are doing the job.
So you're saying be ready when you call them.
Yeah.
So you don't have to call them again. I mean, you don't want, of course, with any business, you don't want to have to call somebody multiple times to sell them.
Right.
But you're saying be prepared enough to one call close.
One call close them, give them the estimate, have them sign something there so that, the likelihood of them buying once you leave, I don't know how high it is, man. I don't know what the percentage is, but I know that
probably varies.
Yeah, for sure. But just, looking at numbers and statistics of all these other larger service companies, no matter who it may be, that's their business model. One call close. They don't care if they have to spend 2 to 3 hours there on the sales call in the house. You're scheduling the job before you leave. You're collecting a deposit. You've got a signed contract. I even had this conversation with one of the guys that was here for the last class, for the tone class. He was asking me about that, and he was telling me, he leaves the job and then goes and does the estimate, right? And then sends the proposal and waits for them to call. Well, I mean, I'm not comfortable with that, to be honest with you.
You're not face to face with them anymore.
Right. I mean, what if, what if it takes you a day or two to get them the estimate because life happens? And what if they had another
change their mind
person come the next day to give them a quote and they accepted that one before you could even, get them a bid? It should always be a one call close, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Always.
Cool. So, what about So you're telling me I shouldn't go to ChatGPT and say, how much should I charge this person for their kitchen?
No, I mean...
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to make
I think ChatGPT is a powerful tool from a marketing standpoint.
Put in all their dimensions. Saying, hey, Chat, what
how much should this cost?
Linear cost.
Yeah.
No, but I'm more kidding, but that's like those how-to, those painting cabinets for dummies or something, you know?
Yeah, but I've thrown math formulas at ChatGPT.
You're right. That's probably a good.
Like for our business, I've put in there if we want to make a 60% margin and our product price is this, and how much do we need to sell? It spits out extremely accurate information, dude.
So for those who aren't aware, and ChatGPT is very popular now, but ChatGPT is an AI language model on through your browser. So if you're interested in that, go to, I think it's OpenAI. Yeah, or just Google ChatGPT and you'll find it. But yeah, I mean, we use it quite a bit just to write, copy and stuff and everybody's really using it, and maybe explore that in your business. Yeah. Maybe how it could help you somehow, but there's all kinds of stuff out there you could use as far as planning, estimating. There's all kinds of things.
That's what I was going to say, man.
They're inexpensive too.
It's free,
Some of it's free, some of it's inexpensive. Yeah.
But even recently, I've had it write business plans. Yeah. I've had it write marketing plans, content strategies. It is extremely useful. If you do not have a business plan, the simplest thing would be to go to ChatGPT and have it write you a business plan and follow it. You have to have some type of plan to follow, and that is the easiest way to get started right now, for sure. Yeah. It's a powerful tool.
For sure.
Very powerful.
Well, we've been going for about 30 minutes. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think it's real important right now what we're talking about, though, the process and everything. Again, this isn't coming from one singular point of view. I think when folks start getting opinions and stuff like that, a lot of times they're coming from a singular point of view. With us being a distributor, we see so much, and we have so many,
lots of different people,
different conversations, different size operations, different equipment, just different everything, right? And we're able to look at that as a whole and just figure out what the absolute best advice we can give everyone. And again, going back to, one piece flow and the way we price, I think it's so important right now with the way the economy is. I think a lot of people get discouraged because they'll go and they'll see people saying, oh man, we're so busy online, we're booked out 6 months and blah, 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 blah. They're the minority right now. Just straight up, I don't give a fuck what they say. Most of our customers are not booked out months. The majority of them right now are booked out a couple weeks. Yeah. That is truly the reality of it. It's even forced us as a business to focus more on commercial because we, try to put all our eggs in one basket, with residential contractors. It doesn't work out the best all the time, especially right now. Most homeowners, hell, myself included, everybody's tightened their belt. It's just the way it is, man. Everything's so damn expensive, and people just don't have the extra money to spend like they have. So,
thanks, Biden.
Yeah. Thanks, Biden. We're not going to go into politics.
No, I'm just kidding.
Donald Trump might show up one of these days, though. And
very beautiful. I can't do it right now. Put me on the spot. Yeah. All right. Well, is that it?
Yeah, I think so, man. I look forward to doing more of these events and classes, and if you're listening to this, hopefully my hope is you might be on a job site listening to this, right? And if you are on a job site listening to this and it's resonating with you, you need to make some changes, man, just reach out to us. It's the easiest thing you can do. is just reach out. We've got tons of YouTube videos on one-piece flow. We have videos on pricing. You know, if you're buying from us, I promise you, you know, we can help you. And our customers will tell you the same thing.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. Well, I guess that'll do it for today.
That'll do it.
And
time for music on that.
Yeah, have fun with that tonight, man. All right, we'll see y'all next time. Thanks.
Later.
Fine Finish Supply is a stocking distributor of Renner Wood Coatings, Surf Prep Sanding, Apollo HVOP, and TriTech Airless. To support this podcast, we ask that you share it with others by simply passing on the link, post it on your social media, or just tell everyone you know. For more information and to reach us, visit our website at www.finefinishsupply.com. You can also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to reach out to us at 1-866-304-8640. Thanks for listening.